Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Ninja Wealth Exchange, episode 32. Hey, what's up, Laura? How's it going, man?
Oh, it's good. It's good. Happy Sunday.
Yeah, happy Sunday, man. So we're gonna be going over some pretty big stuff. We're gonna be going over NEXA's BDM process. So I'm looking forward to breaking down this process. I think we can make some people a lot of money.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. We're excited to get into it. So, I mean, a lot of things have been going on the last couple weeks here, right? Especially for you, Johnny, and some things we haven't quite announced officially yet for you. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So there's a few different things that took place. Number one, as you guys know, I'm with EXP. We're kicking off the 12 disciple method. That's going to be something that I'm probably going to make a side video on that. So if anybody wants to come and join the 12 disciple process, wants to be a realtor, that's going to be real great. But today we're going to be talking about me stepping over. I took my whole entire mortgage brokerage, right? Shut it down, moved everybody over to NEXA. And we have some pretty big plans, some pretty big processes that we're going to be putting together. And we're going to grow bigger faster, right? By going over to NEXA.
Yeah. No, we're excited to have you. And then, along with that, it's not an easy decision, right? What you did, but you took the time to be open-minded about it and you know, learn about it. And once you decided that, oh wow, you saw the potential that was available to you, right, just by moving over. um Now we have a lot of things that we're working on, right? We got some big plans going on, and we just learned about this thing we're going to talk about today. Well, we didn't just learn about it, but I mean, we've been researching, we've been looking at it, how we can implement it to our business, right? And how we can
Mhm.
really help other professionals out there to earn more, right? So that's what we're going to talk about today. So you want to mention about that, what that is about?
Yeah. So, this happens to be one of the main reasons why I moved over to Nexa. Now, the BDM process, right, which Nexa allows us to hire a part-time BDM. And what that means is business development marketer. And so a business development marketer will come in and work alongside with us, and they will be part-time employee of Nexa, and they get to market. And as they do transactions and we close transactions, they will get paid on the transactions based on whatever it is that we negotiate from an income perspective. And my thoughts are is that it's actually really, really lucrative for people who are already marketing for business. So pretty much any marketing, any business that's out there that's already marketing, if you join us and you do a few deals with us, you're going to be making money.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's definitely a unique opportunity, and kind of interesting how Next was able to come about putting that together. So we're gonna get into that right now. So we prepared a little presentation here to help kind of explain, right? So as we go along. So let's bring that up here. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, the BDM, right, which is Nexa BDM, Business Development Manager, right, our marketer, and then
Hmm.
basically, a way for professionals to in the business already that are either related to mortgage or I mean finances or real estate to earn extra income, right? So yeah, kind of like you just mentioned, you are a marketing professional, right? Because in the mortgage world, we cannot legally pay kickbacks, right, or referral
Correct.
fees to
Correct.
to real estate agents that bring us loans, right, leads, things like that we close. It's a violation, right? RESPA violation. But because we can hire you, right? You would be hired on as a W-2 employee of Nexa, right? Um, and this is a part-time role. And so you would be a business development marketer, right? Um, and so because you're an employee, right, and you're doing actual legit work and we're documenting everything, um, so now you're assigned a dedicated loan officer that you work with, and you do the marketing, you generate the leads, the loan officer closes the loans that you bring in, and now we can pay you, right? So now we can pay you for the loans that you generate. So, anything I missed there? Anything you want to
Yeah,
add?
yeah, yeah. So something that I want you guys to understand is that you're not a loan officer, right? You're joining up with a loan officer at NEXA to do this. That also means that you cannot be licensed to be a part of this process. If you plan on being a licensed loan officer, we can talk about that on the side with you individually. But if you want to be a business development marketer, then we're going to bring you on as a part-time person. Now, like part-time seems like, we might want you guys to be working like a ton of hours, right? And that is not the case. And I think Laura's going to be going over it. He's going to bring up, what BDMs don't do, and kind of go over that list with us, right? So,
Yeah, that's actually on the screen right now.
oh,
So,
sweet.
right, right. So, you can see that, right?
Yeah, 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 I can see it. I
Yeah.
can see it. I just
Okay.
wasn't looking at it. It's on my other screen.
Oh, it's a, yeah. You get the dual screen up. Okay, okay.
Yep,
So
yep.
yeah, yeah. I mean, just to be clear, right? BDM, business development marketer, they don't originate loans. They're not licensed loan officers, right? And you don't need a license, right? Because that's one of the obstacles right away to there is a different program like John just mentioned. If you were to be a dual licensed professional like us, you could be
Mhm,
what's known as a relo, which is a dual licensed professional. You have both the real estate license as a realtor and a mortgage license to originate loans.
mhm.
However, the hesitation by a lot of realtors is it's a lot of work, or they just don't want to do the work to get their MO license. With the BDM program, no license required. You're not going to be a loan officer. You're not touching any files. Um, you can be a realtor, right? Or you cannot even be in real estate, right? All you need to do is talk to people on a daily basis in your primary role, whether it's mortgage or finances or real estate. You're talking to people who may potentially need a loan, right? Whether it's to buy a house, commercial, real estate, or a business purpose loan, right? All those types of loans, we at Nexa as loan officers, we can generate those types of loans. So it's really simple, and the biggest hurdle is cleared already. There's no license needed, right? No
Mhm, mhm.
liability, no extra CEs, because as realtors we love continuing education, right? So um, yeah, so you just get paid for your marketing efforts. So that's how we can legally pay you, right?
Yep.
Um, Yeah. So again, that's just what I said earlier. You don't really. It helps if you're already in the industry because honestly, you're already doing a lot of these things, right? So, um, as a realtor, you are already marketing every day, right? And so, why not get paid to market to help market your loan officers' loan programs or whatever it might be, right? A lot of real estate agents are already doing this. They're talking to loan officer partners on a daily basis. They're learning what the newest loan programs are, and then the loan officers are even giving them the marketing material that has the both pictures, right? It's called co-marketing, right? You have both your picture, your loan officer's picture. Um, Realtors are already pushing those ads out, right? Um, so now we can legally compensate you if you decide to partner up and be a BDM. Other roles that are kind of like related, right? Insurance agents, financial planners, CPAs, right? Even commercial real estate professionals, right?
Yeah.
So I'll let you talk about this.
Yeah. So, um, things that you're probably doing already, right? As realtors, you're already distributing co-brand items to your buyers and packets, flyers, open house material. You're already posting social media posts. You're already creating reels. And oftentimes you get to do it with your LOs, and your LOs. If you're an LO, you're already putting out financial tips, or at least if you're not doing it, you should be doing it, right? Same with home buyer seminars, first time home buyer seminars, or classes. It, things that you guys are already doing, but you're not getting paid for it, because the only time you actually do something is you get a closing on your realty side, and you don't get paid for it from a marketing perspective. Which, if you were a part of the BDM process, then you also get paid as a marketer. And now for insurance agents, I don't know if you guys co-brand, right? I'm going to be honest with you, right? I'm a licensed realtor, I'm a licensed loan officer, but I don't know enough about the insurance license as well as the financial planners or the financial advisors, what your regulations are when you guys co-brand and stuff. But we have the ability to co-brand with you, right? We have the ability to create newsletters that will help you, and the likelihood is that you're already doing these activities yourself, right? You're already putting out newsletters, you're already sending emails on an annual basis to your clientele, you're already cross promoting different programs, different products, working with loan officers, making sure that they can refinance their house and the insurance gets to, change over. You're already in your community, doing mixers and supporting local places, sponsoring different events and such. As financial advisors, you're already doing webinars, you're already doing classes outside of what it is, whether it be just financial classes or basic financial classes or in-depth financial classes. You guys are already doing that. And oftentimes, like, you're working with somebody to help them be able to access things like HELOCs, right? And then hopefully you've been co-branding stuff with different people as well. And so these are all things that you're already doing, but you're not getting the extra money for it, you're just getting your portion of it. Now, if you were to join the BDM process, you're going to get you're going to get paid more, because you're not only going to get paid on what you do, but you're going to get paid based on being a marketer, right?
Yep, exactly. Moving on, so if you're already a realtor, right? Why do you should care about this, right? So I mean, realtors and loan officers, our business goes hand in hand, right? And so if you are willing to be a BDM for a LO, basically you're going to strengthen your relationship with that lender partner, right? Um, it's really going to help you, and it's going to be mutually invested partnership, right? And now, right, one of the biggest things, being a realtor, from coming from the realtor world, is like, hey, loan officer, I sent you like 10 deals. When are you going to send me one? Right. Or how could I get compensated for all the loans we've closed together? Right.
Hmm.
The
Hmm.
BDM now allows you to legally do this, right? Because now you're going to be the marketing partner for them, right? And
Hmm. Hmm.
and you're being hired by NEXA. You're not being paid for referrals, right? You're getting paid for your marketing efforts as a part-time NEXA employee. So that's how we can get around it, right? By being compliant. Not only that, by having such a deeper relationship with your loan officer now, right? And they're teaching you more about the loan process, it's only going to level you up as a realtor, right? Now you're going to
Hmm.
have skills and knowledge that other agents are not going to have, right? Could be like you have a better understanding of the pre-approval process, the loan programs, the underwriting process, right? Because quite honestly, coming from the realtor side, the funding stuff, the lending stuff, once I got that accepted offer, I was like, "Hey, here's the ball. You go run with it, do your thing. Let me know when we're ready to close." Right? And don't mess it up. That was really all we as agents, that's all really we cared about, right? Like get us to
Yeah.
closing, close on time, right? Um, but now that you're gonna have a better relationship where you're also kind of teaching, educating clients, I mean, it's only gonna help you. And then one of the biggest hurdles, right, that a lot of agents have is like, "Oh, I'm so busy. I don't have time. I can't add anything anymore." Well, we already talked about it. You're already doing all these things. You're already
Hmm.
posting on social
Hmm.
media. You're already creating content, right? So it's not really like you're adding more to whatever you're doing already. It's just now you actually have more value, more to your content, right? If you want it, right? Because what we could do is we could actually create all the content for you. All you have to do is just post it, right? So, um, anything you want to add there?
Yeah, so I'd like to add, like, so as a realtor, right? So we have it as why realtors should care. So as a realtor, it's not always going to be the case that you make a transaction when you attract people, right? Sometimes people come in and they need a home equity loan, right? And you're not going to make money when they do a home equity loan. However, if you were to join us, right, and you were to do a cash out refinance, you would get paid on that, right? So because you're marketing based on what you're currently doing, we're going to pay you out. a portion of what it is to be able to bring in that business, right? So I think that that's a key factor, right? Key factor is we're hiring you to do what you're already doing.
programs, right? If you have equity, right, we can definitely partner up with a financial planner, um, access their HELOC for them, right? And now they
Mhm.
can use that to whatever their financial planner and them have going on, right? Whatever that plan is, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's going to add more potential clients to you as a loan officer. And we were talking about the compliance, RESPA, right? It's no longer, you don't have to worry about it being illegal because through this, uh, you're hiring a BDM as an employee of NEXA. They actually have a legit job, right? It's not
Mhm.
just a
Mhm.
realtor bringing in or anybody bringing in a loan and you're paying them a kickback, right? It's not a RESPA violation this way. And then when you're co-marketing, when you're working with your BDM, it's really just going to build stronger pipelines for both of your business, especially as a
Mhm.
realtor. If you're helping your realtor generate more business by creating the content, right? Like I said earlier, if you're helping to create the DSCR refi flyer, and you're educating them on all these other programs, now they become, so much more skilled than all the other agents out there. They're getting more clients, right? Which ultimately is going to lead to both of you having more clients, right? So I think that's huge. Anything else you want to add in this part?
Yeah, I think it's key what you said, right? This is payment that you receive that you can put back into your business, right? This is money that like, these are things you're already doing that you're not getting paid for, where you can get paid for and take that money and put it back into your business. And not only now, like when you bring on, like, as a loan officer, right? So this is specifically from a loan officer perspective. When you help your realtors uh figure out their marketing strategies, bring in more business, you get deals, right? And you can bring it to them as well, right? So that means that as you get the deals in, as you guys work together, right? They are going to be the guy that, when you have a deal. Now, as loan officers, we're not going to we don't do the referral process. You can't get paid by referring business over to a realtor. However, right, when the realtor brings that deal back to you to do the loan, you're going to get paid, right? And so now, the more people that you can work with from a BDM perspective, meaning the more people you as a loan officer can get them paid, the more people are going to be working with you, right? So if you were to come over to Nexa and you were to work with us, we would design a program for you as a loan officer so that it helps you go find new BDMs to work with, to bring you more business and to help them create more business, right? I think that that's huge, right? And that increases
Yeah.
volume on their side. It increases volume on your side. It's loan officers are usually worried about RESPA, and this is completely RESPA compliant, and it allows you both to build a really, really strong portfolio together, a business planning process together. And the more people you work with, the more ideas you have. The more ideas you have, the more business you can bring in. And so I think it's just it's huge. Like, I'm just reiterating exactly what you said, but I think that it's important that people know that, right?
Right, right. All right. So let's get to the good part, right? How much you get paid.
Yep.
So as a BDM, um, the pay that you get is going to be paid in bips, right? So each loan that you help generate to bring in as a BDM, right, marketing to bring those loans in, not referring, right? um it's between you and your LO partner, right? So you guys will negotiate, hey, depends on how skilled you are at bringing in potential leads, right? um, so it could be anywhere from 10 to 30 bips. And bips is basically loan officer talk for basis points, right? Like 100 bips is 1%, right? So,
Mhm.
um, so can be anywhere from 10 to 30 bips, just an example, right? So if you negotiate that, it'd be like point zero 0.01, no, 0.001 is 10
Right.
bips, right?
Yeah.
So um, and you could also negotiate that, hey, as you get better at generating more loans through your marketing efforts, well, after you clear certain milestones, like, hey, pass 3 loans that I close, then I'm going to get increased to 15 bips. Past 6 or 10 or whatever, eventually there's step ups to, how much you can get paid, right? So again, it's completely negotiations between you and your BDM, right? Obviously, if you're like a top producing LO and you got no problems bringing in leads, yeah, your LO is probably going to be able to compensate you much higher, right? Um,
Mhm, mhm.
so it all depends on performance, right? And then each LO and BDM, they're gonna have to work out how they want to do their business, right? So,
Mhm, mhm.
but the important thing again, uh, as a BDM, you can only be assigned to one LO. So,
Yep.
all right. So let's, Johnny, you want to talk about the example earnings as a BDM?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, how it breaks down, right? So, basis points, like Laura said, it's a percent of a percent. Um, and so when you take a look at the payout, say for example, you do one transaction and you guys have negotiated to do 25 basis points per transaction. So 25 basis points per a $400,000 loan amount is going to be $1,000, right? So for every transaction that you do, you're going to get $1,000 as a BDM. Now, uh, the thing is that we would expect you to do more than three, and we would kind of expect you to do about 12 transactions a year. But if you don't, if you do at least three, the likelihood is that you're going to be good. You're going to be good, meaning like because there's a cost to all of this, right? To do all these different types of things, you're going to be able to offset the cost by doing three transactions. Now, on an annual basis, right? If you did 12 transactions and they were $400,000 loan amount each, you're going to be making $12,000. Now, of course, the state's going to take away the state and the IRS is going to take away their taxes, which is going to be about 10%, and your net payout is going to be $10,800. Now, some people think that hey, look, I can take this and I can go on a really good vacation with it, right? And that's absolutely true. But I think from our perspective, we would love it if you take that money and you put it into some kind of a system, hire a virtual assistant, hire a marketing person, bring on a new program, like advance your AI. Like you can take this money, $10,000 will go a long way inside of your business. And so if this is just extra money from what you're already doing and you're adding an additional $10,000, dude, I think that's a game changer for your business. Would you agree, Laura?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I mean, extra money to reinvest in your business, right? I mean, you could pay for a coach, you could pay to go to more conferences, right? To
Hmm,
meet other people
hmm.
who are performing at a higher level, right? So I mean, sky's the limit. I mean, $900. I mean, if you want to get a car, brand new car, I mean, yeah, I could pay for a car, right?
Yeah,
So
on an annual
yeah,
basis, right?
exactly, right, right. So
You can get that Tundra that you always wanted,
yeah, man,
or
those things are
close,
expensive.
or close.
It's about $1,000 a month. Yes. So yeah, definitely. But yeah, I mean, it's a no brainer. I mean, you're already doing most of this work as a realtor. You're leaving money on the table,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
So let's talk about compliance here. So, like, okay, cool, money's great. How much work is required to document to stay in compliance, right? This is what you need to know. So, first of the month, Next is going to email you a service verification report, right? Basically, it's going to say, hey, what did you do last month, right? In your role as a BDM. So there are a couple categories that we have already set up. And so you kind of just check the box. What did you do? And some of them are like social media marketing, or some of them are like events, right? And then you kind of just check the box and then fill in the details, right? Exactly kind of what you did, right? And then you sign and you date it. And then the second of the month, you're gonna get a text on your phone, oh, reminding you that, hey, did you update that document yet? And that's it. So it's very simple. That's all you need to do. Not a lot of work required, right?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's what we hire you part-time for, right? That's the check and balance process. Once a month, we reach out to you and double check to see if you've updated your systems and let us know what you did. It's
Right.
super easy.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, if that sounds good to you, BDM, you can stop there, right? But if you want to actually take advantage of everything that Nexa has to offer, because now as a BDM, you have access to this part as well. So you can participate in Nexa's rev share program, right? So Johnny, you want to take away explain what the rev share is?
Yeah, yeah. So rev share here at NEXA, we have a three-level deep rev share process, and what that means is that for every loan officer that you bring in and that works and is a part of your team that joins NEXA, right? You're going to get paid a portion of the rev share. Now, when NEXA gets paid, they're going to pay you out that rev share amount. Um, you're going to see that the more loan officers that you bring in that is underneath your downline, the more pay you actually get. Nexa pays out 10 basis points per transaction for every loan that your loan officers that are underneath you comes in. Now, you don't have to manage them, right? We have coaching programs for them. We have advisors for them. We have a whole system, a whole process to be able to bring them in, to get them started, to get them in the right direction. We have Nexa University that's going to teach them how to do transactions with Nexa. So when you bring them on, they're not going to be on your team per se, but they will be in an employee of Nexa as well, and they'll be able to help you. Now, if you want to be a coach to them, that'd be great, right? But if you don't want to, you don't have to. Just bring them in and allow them to be on your team and have them go through the process, the learning process to be able to close loans. And if they're closing loans, you're getting paid. Now, 10 basis points probably doesn't sound as much as, the 10 to 30 basis points as a BDM. However, if you're doing that on a multiple level, let's say, for example, you come in, you bring 10 loan officers onto your team, they bring 10 loan officers onto their team, you're going to be looking at making 10 basis points for every transaction that they do. Now, I think, Laura, you have a calculator that you were thinking about
Yeah,
sharing.
yeah. We'll
Yeah.
show that in a little bit here. Yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
but yeah, I mean, this is essentially a passive income, really,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that you're gonna start generating, right? And like you said, if you're helping other loan officers to join the company, I mean, you don't really have to be too involved with them. Um, and because I mean, if you were to join Nexa under us as a BDM, now the LO would be under you, which would also be in our downline. So we're
Mm-hmm.
also
Mm-hmm.
LOs. So we can also leverage you. You could also leverage us, right? Leverage
Yeah,
Johnny, leverage
absolutely.
myself to help mentor and support that LO that you're going to bring on, right? So basically, their success is going to be all of our success, right? If we help them to be a high performing loan officer, it's really just going to help all of us, right? So it's
Mm-hmm.
aligned interest is what it is, and creating that win-win culture and system. So yeah, Nexa's rev share system is 3 levels, right? So your level 1 is your direct recruits. Level 2 would be your level 1's recruits, and level 3 would be your level 2's recruits, right? So you would get potentially paid out on 3 levels at Nexa. Um, and it's super simple. 10 bips every level, so nothing complicated. Um, so very easy to understand. And so here's an example, right? And so if this example says, hey, if you were to have 30 recruits eventually, right? And it takes time, it's going to take time to get to 30. But if all 30 of those closed an average loan amount of 400,000, right? You would potentially be earning $9,000 a month or 108,000 a year. You add that onto your $1,000 a month as a BDM, potentially you're around 120,000, right? Um, total. So now I'm going to share the calculator now and show you that. So let's see. All right. So here we are. Here's the calculator, right? Just to kind of give you like, hey, what's it actually look like, right? So in this example here, we're saying that hey, the average loan amount per um, as a BDM, you are allowed to recruit LOs, right? So you don't have to be licensed, but you could recruit LOs. And so let's just say your first year you were successful to recruit 5 LOs. They each close. loans that, and then you would earn $2,000 a month if each of them closed 400,000 in loan amount, right? So basically that's one loan each LO. You would earn $2,000 off that 10 bips. So 10 bips sound like small, but you just made twice what you did as a BDM, right? So to unlock your level 2 now, let's say you help these 5 and recruit their own 5, or right now it's really going up, right? So now you're earning more, right? Now to unlock your level 3, you need 10 producing LOs in your line 1. And so now this is the example that I had in this slide where, hey, you help them get another 10 of their own, and those 10 get 10 more, right? And this is a simple example, right? So 12,000, 144,000, right? But of course, it's going to take time, and this takes time to build over time. I mean, it can go fast or it can go slow. It all depends on how quickly and how much you want to focus your attention to, right? So that's kind of how that calculator works. And if I, unfortunately, we can't give access to the calculator, but if you did join, you would have access. But it's not public. It's not something public can share. And so now we go into the myths, right? So the common myths when people hear rev share and that type of thing. So Johnny, you want to take that one?
Yeah, so people hear rev share and they think of a pyramid scheme, right? And the thing is that um a lot of people are thinking of, previous MLMs that, have red flags that throws everybody in kind of a loop. However, in this kind of process, right? Um the thing is that everything that we receive comes from revenue. That means if a deal doesn't close, you're not getting paid. And so everybody's getting paid based on the deals that closes. And so that
There is acronym for automatic negative thinking, right? And
Mhm.
so when you hear certain things, it triggers certain things in people, right? And so, of course, pyramid gets a negative connotation, right? But I mean, quite honestly, the way you look at it, a lot of businesses out there could fall right into a pyramid, right? Because I mean, income comes into a business, it goes all the way flows to the top, right? Ownership, leadership, and then it gets distributed back down, right?
Mhm.
And same thing, we work in real estate, working whether you're a realtor or how's the business going to come in, right? Everybody's always recruiting for other people, right? It's just the truth. And if you're already at a brokerage, right, whether it's real estate or loan officer, I'm pretty certain that your broker owner or your leadership, they're asking you, hey guys, if you ever come across anybody who's thinking about joining, or you're having friends that are interested in joining, please come bring them over, right? And when you do bring them over, they might incentivize loan officers that are just fine with staying in the production lane. All they want to do is produce, right? And but then there are people who are like, hey, you know what? This production thing, it's a grind. I want to like earn some extra side income. And that's when they start seeing the power of like, oh, I could do this rev share thing, right? I can help other loan officers come in. I can teach them to be successful, and then I can earn a little bit from many loan officers' efforts, and that's probably going to add up to more than what I can do by myself, right? Anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So when I used to work for a corporation, right, my thoughts are is that, man, like, um I need to figure out how I can get paid more, right? And I need to figure out how I can control my business and grow my own business. And the thing is that when you get really good at what you do, yeah, you can make a ton of money, right? You don't have to be a recruiter. You don't have to hire people. You can specifically be a solo person. But the thing is that at some point in time, you're going to grow to the point where you're like, hey, so, 80% of what 5 people do on my team is a lot more than 100% of what I can do, right?
Mhm.
And when you look at it from that perspective, you're gonna be like, "Hey, so maybe I should start recruiting, and maybe I should start building a team." And this gives you the ability to not have to go through, uh, like creating SOPs, standardized operating procedures, to handling HR, to like there's so much paperwork behind creating an actual business. And so if you just recruited, right, you brought people on, say for example, you're like similar to an HR company where what they do is they send out job postings out there, and then people come in and they apply, and then you interview and you bring them in, and then you ship them off to their manager, right, to run the business. You actually get paid for what they do. So my thoughts are is that, man, like that is a key thing. Like, let's say for example, if you become and now I'm going into, if you become a loan officer, right, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that because it's really important. If you become a loan officer, and then let's say for example your business grows to be too big and you can't handle all of the transactions that you're doing. Let's say for example you're capable of handling somewhere between 10 to 20 transactions a month, and you're getting leads in that is going to do 30 to 50 transactions a month. Of course, you're not going to be able to do that by yourself. But if you're bringing in that business, well, you want to refer it out to other loan officers inside of the company, and then you can, negotiate the different terms as to who's going to get paid what. And of course, there's suggested, basis points that you get paid when you refer it into someone within the company. And so, not only that, if you were to bring them in to work under your branch, right, at NEXA, you can arrange that however you like. And so there's so many different things that you could do, right? And recruiting is not all about, you know just the rev share, right? It's not just about the rev share. Like, sometimes you bring people on because you're changing their lives, right? You're making a difference. You're allowing them to be able to grow underneath you, to see what it is that you do successfully, so that they can also do it successfully. Now, if you're not successful at it and you're just a recruiter, right, and you're not good at the business, well, then you can bring them in to and bring and attach them to someone who is successful, to allow them to be successful. And the thing is that because you brought them in, because you helped them with this process, you get a portion of that becomes a part of your business, your growth. And sometimes even into retirement, right, when you retire, you still get the rev share from the downlines that you bring in. So I think that it's really, really important for people to understand that, the business that we do is not all about recruiting. We still have to close loans at the end of the day. But it is something where, if you want to build a business and not have to go through the process of just crazy management and paperwork, this gives you the ability to do it.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. And I just want to add that, like you said, ref share is not just about recruiting people. It's like you're offering them, um, as a maybe a newer loan officer, right? That's getting into the industry, right? It can be a lonely business, right? There's not a lot of people that are going to offer mentorship to you, right? And
Mhm, mhm.
be able to teach you for free, right? There's plenty of coaches that will take your money, right? But through the partnership, the business partnership of RevShare, right? Joining somebody else's RevShare organization. I mean, of course, you're going to have these conversations, right, before you decide to join them if they're the right fit for you. But I mean, like I said earlier, if you're able to find a person who's willing to pour into you what they've gained through the years of experience, right? Like Johnny, you have what, 30 years of mortgage or whatever
Close.
that you've done, right?
Close.
I mean, if you're new to the industry and you knew somebody like that that was willing to mentor you and train you, kind of help you out, give you the pointers, right? And all you have to do is just sign up with them, that's a no-brainer. I would
Mhm,
I would do that
mhm,
all day, right? Rather than
mhm.
try to survive on myself and figure things on my own. I mean, you might just end up burning yourself out and be done out of the business within 1 to 2 years, right? It's a tough industry, right? If you don't know what you don't know, you don't know how to generate business, you don't know how to generate leads, you're done, right? Um, and you mentioned something too that, hey, if you partner with another loan officer who has so much business, well, now you can be in part of their business, right? Their team setup or whatever, however you want to organize, and now they can just give you their excess loans that, hey, you want to work this one, let's, so now you're getting business, right, that you would not have.
Mhm.
So it's huge. The other common thing, doubts, right, with rev share that I've heard, oh well, that can't be sustainable. Wouldn't the company collapse if they just keep paying everybody rev share? So that's, that's very common. But I think we talked about slip earlier.
Mhm.
If there's no production, there's no rev share, right? Rev
Mhm.
share is a product of when a loan closes a loan, right? So it's not like
Mhm.
magically happening that the company's just paying rev share out, right? If no one in your downline's producing, obviously you're not going to make anything. Okay, so make that
Right.
clear. Um, so yeah, and like we said earlier, like a lot of times these traditional pyramid schemes, I mean, they're collecting the money when people join, right? And that's how they're getting fed up. But the other thing with Nexa is that there's actually a rule here. So in order for you to participate in rev share, to earn rev share, right, the first $1,000 of rev share payment must be collected by Nexa first, right? Unless you actually produced a loan, unless you actually close the loan, right? As an LO, right? So if you close a loan a month, one loan a month, you bypass this $1,000 rule. Something important: BDMs do not originate loans, so they do not close loans, right? So
Mhm.
as a BDM or a non-producing LO, say you didn't close any loans for that month, well, if you were to get paid out rev share because your partner is actually produced, um, first you have to meet that $1,000 threshold, right? And then anything after that is paid out to you as rev share. If the rev share doesn't even total 1,000, then basically you just don't get paid out rev share for that month. They're not going to make you pay the difference, right? That just doesn't make sense. So there's no penalty, right? It's either, hey, you either made over 1,000, and then whatever over 1,000 is the rev share payout, or you just don't get paid at all, right? And then the options to go about, you know, passing that, to avoid that threshold limit, right? You either, if you're a BDM, you got to recruit top performing LOs, right? Or have more recruits, right? Have even more so that your rev share payout, there's no issues. You're always going to make over that $1,000 threshold, right? The other thing is you could, as a BDM later down the line, if you wanted to, go and get your MLO license. And now you have the ability to, you're no longer going to be a BDM. You're going to be an LO now, right? So now by simply closing a loan, just one a month, you no longer have that $1,000 threshold, right? So that's how that works. All right. So you want to handle this one, the legacy building with RevShare?
Yeah. So, I mean, my thoughts are is that this is like amazing, right? So, in when you build your rev share out, um, you put your rev share into an LLC, and what that means is that the LLC will exist forever. So, as long as the group of people that you brought into the business continues to bring in business, your LLC will continue to make money. Um, and as it continues to make money, let's say, for example, something happens to you, the funds will still remain or will still continue to go into your LLC. And whoever the beneficiaries of your LLC is, they'll receive the payout. So should you pass, like, from this life to the next or whatever the case is, NEXA will continue to pay your LLC. So that means your next of kin that you have listed as ownership of the LLC, your beneficiaries of the LLC, whoever that may be, they receive it, and they'll receive all three levels when that happens, and they'll unlock automatically. So that means that if something were to happen to you, and let's say your family comes across a tough time, well, they'll have this income, right? This income will continue to come to them and allow them to be able to continue life if something were to happen to you. And so, it's like, I don't know about anybody else, but I have 3 kids, and then I also have my wife, and but I'm the main breadwinner inside of my family. So it's really important for me that when I'm gone, this business that I built will still pay out to my family members. And I think that that's super key. That's like, um I think that it's amazing that the business will continue to be paid, and my people will continue to be cared for even after I have gone. Um, I don't know. Is there anything I'm missing on this, Laura? I think.
Um, yeah, I mean, it's a little bit morbid to be talking about us when we're not around, but I mean, um, the other really important piece, right? You don't have to be passed away to enjoy the fruits of your labor of rev share, right?
Mhm,
Um,
mhm,
like I mentioned a little bit earlier, I mean, if you're crushing it as a loan officer, right, and you're doing 10, 20 loans a month, but at the same time, eventually you're gonna get burned out, right? You're gonna get tired of the grind, right? And
mhm,
so at the same time as you're doing that, you should also be trying to build your rev share, right? If you want to. And then that will also add even more income to give you the option to slow down, right? On your
mhm.
production, right? And so now you have better quality of life, right? You have more free time. Now you have a bunch of other LO partner business partners that you could, like we had talked about earlier, you could be the rainmaker. You generate the business, you divvy it up to your partners, they close them all for you, everybody wins, right?
Yeah.
And build that rev share while you're still active in the business, right? And then when you're ready to uh really just step away and not produce anymore, I mean, you could just at that point continue to earn your rev share, right? Retire, do whatever you want, maybe do another business, I don't know. But yeah, you don't have to wait until you pass away to really enjoy the benefits. But something really cool, like you mentioned though, is that you are building this legacy, so that even after you pass, it's still around, right? It's still
Mhm,
around for
mhm.
your family to take advantage of. So it's really, really cool. All right. So you want to talk about if people are interested in being BDM, what's next steps?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, of course, there's 2 paths, right? One, you start being a BDM. Of course, there is a cost to becoming a BDM. We have to, because we're a lending institution, right? So NEXA is a lending institution. When you join us over at NEXA, you're gonna have to do a background check, and you're gonna have to do a credit check, and you have to qualify, right, with both your background and your credit check. And so that cost is $75. So that's something that you're going to have to pay. And then we have tech fees, right? There's a bunch of different ways that uh, we're going to have to, track all of the information as well as make sure you get paid. So we have tech fees, right? We're gonna create for you a Google Suite, right? So that means you're gonna have an email with Nexa. You're gonna have attachments to our LOS system, right, which is the loan officer support system. That's gonna attach you to coaches as well as attach you to the advisors and the HR teams and so on. And that cost is about $55, or that costs 55 at this moment. It costs $55 a month, right? Now there is an exception to that, right? If you are able to bring in business, right? Usually they'll waive that amount. Is that correct, Laura?
Yeah, yeah. So if you're able to generate, through your marketing efforts, you're able to close a loan, right, that you brought in through your marketing efforts that month, the next month your tech fee is waived, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So, with that, I think that's a bonus. So of course, what do you need to do, right? Connect with the loan officer that taught you about the BDM process, that wants to bring you in to partner with them to do the business, right? Now, if you don't have a loan officer that is a Nexa loan officer, reach out to one of us. We'll set you up as a BDM, and we'll work with you and help you market and so on. Now, you're going to have to then, review and sign the contract, go through the background credit check, and then we're going to put you through what we call the BDM flight plan, where you're going to be onboarded, you're going to be provided systems, you're going to be provided the information that you need to do, as well as, we're going to put you through a class that's going to tell you the requirements that, as a part-time employee, as to what you're going to do. Basically they're going to go over the same things we just went over with you, but they're going to go over in detail that allows you to be able to sit there and ask questions if you have any questions. And then the thing is that you're going to have to log on and report some of the information, work with your loan officer, make sure that you get paid on every transaction that you do. And then that's pretty much it. I mean, it's a pretty simple process. And so I think, does the next slide have the breakdown as to, the math behind the costs?
No, it doesn't. But I
Okay.
mean, if the cost is an issue, right? If the $55 a month is an issue for you, between you making the decision to be a BDM or not, I mean, we'll do the math for you. So let's do the quick math, right? So $55 a month times 12, right? $660 a year. Okay.
Hmm.
You add in
Hmm.
the one time $75 for the credit chart, the credit check and the background check. That's $735, right?
Hmm.
And so in our example earlier, if you're getting paid 25 bips and your average loan amount is 400,000, and you bring that loan in, your loan officer closes that for you. On the BDM side, you're gonna make $1,000 out of that one
Hmm.
deal, right?
Yep.
Gross commission. You're already in the green,
Yep.
right? For the whole year.
Yep.
So you close one deal, you're good. Everything is up from there, right? And then that doesn't even factor in what we just said, that hey, if you're also closing one loan a month, the next month your tech fees waived, right?
Hmm.
So you're gonna save you're gonna be able to save that $55 a month if you just continue to produce, right? And quite honestly, the fee is there because it is not free for us to just have a bunch of BDMs just sit around and do nothing, right? Um,
Yeah.
you have to. It is a job. You have to be willing and committed to actually do this, right? We don't want people to just sign up and just kind of, not put forth the effort, right? Because this is a partnership, and
Yeah.
we're going to help you grow. You're going to help us grow. So, and if we continue to grow, I mean, that's just the cost of doing business. That's very small, right? At least that's the way I see it. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, so I'd like to add, like, this is not a referral fee, right?
Right,
So
right.
it's not
It's
like you're
not.
just bringing in one deal, we're doing a transaction, we're paying you guys for that transaction. That's not how it works. And so this is a part-time gig. So that means that you will have to report back to us on a monthly basis as to what you're doing. Now, the details are not like, you don't have to go into super details, as long as you keep records of what it is that you're doing, and we can see on your social media posts that you're putting out social media content. That's all we really need, right? Fill out this
Mhm.
once per month, and that's it. As long as you send it in and we can see that you're marketing for us, marketing for you, um, we'll pay you out. And so I think that that's something that people have to understand, that we're not here to do single transactions with people. We're here to build business, right? And so
Right.
when you come in as a BDM, we want you to make sure you're actually producing, because we want people that are like-minded, that wants to not only make money with us, but build a future, a better future for not just ourselves, but for our family too. And like, we care about our community. The more you can do, the more you can bless your communities, and I think that's a really big part of what it is that we do. So the
Mhm.
fee does exist there to weed out the people that just wants a referral fee. We're not here to do that. The reason our program works is because it is not a referral fee system. It is really a partnership to be able to build business together.
Yes, yeah, yeah, correct. And then, don't forget that along with joining NEXA as a BDM, I mean, you are allowed to participate in the ref share program if you want to, right? So there's going to
Mhm.
be a whole bunch of other opportunities for you to even earn more additional income if you really want to, right? So there is an opportunity to build some serious income here, right? So Um, and then the other option, right? If you wanted to, you want to talk about this part too?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So if you decide you want to be an MLO, like we would love to have you on our team. Now, um, being an MLO is not easy, right? You got to be out there marketing, you got to be out there talking to people, you got to be out there making sure you provide people with the highest level of service, because we are dealing with some of the highest costs of transaction in people's lives, right? Um, most people are not going to be spending, 300 to 400 to 800, even millions of dollars to purchase something outside of a house, right? And so because we're doing residential real estate and sometimes we're doing business real estate, these people are coming in, they're trusting us with a high level of service, a high level of understanding, and it's really, really important that you be good. So if you want to come and you want to be one of the best LOs out there, we will help you with that process. We will get you connected to the right people, get you through your 20 hours of safe MLO classes, and then send you to get your exams done. Now, every state is going to have their own license guidelines in addition to the 20 hours that you have to do, and we'll get you connected to the right people to get you the best class that's going to help you pass the test, right? And then once you obtain your license and you join NEXA, you're going to be a part of our group. Laura and I, we currently have a group of, what is it? Probably about like 10 loan
13,
officers that we, what was that?
13, I think.
Is it
13.
13 already? Okay,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can't keep
yeah.
up.
13, man. Yep.
But okay, so we got 13 loan officers that currently work with us, where we are on a chat together, and if anyone has any questions, they can throw it in the chat, and we all have combined minds to help you determine what it is that you're going to do. Like recently, I think Laura, you had a deal where you threw it in the chat where the credit score was just really low, and I was like, yeah, I have no idea. But then of
Mhm.
course, we got an answer, right? We got an answer, and
Yeah,
there
yeah.
was an option out there for someone that has a, under 600 FICO score for a DSCR product. So if you
Mhm.
want to become fully licensed, reach out to us. There's so much more to add when you become a loan officer. Being a BDM is great, but being dual license is going to be a game changer, right? So I
Mhm.
recommend that you reach out to us and you just get connected. Um, and then, is there anything I missed?
No, not really. I mean, BDM is great, like you said, if you don't want to get that license, right? And then
Hmm.
also
Hmm.
if you just want to do the minimal amount of work, right? Like like time effort requirement, right? Um,
Hmm.
BDM is fantastic if you're a realtor and you do not want to add much more onto your plate because again, like we said earlier, as a realtor, you're already doing many of the things that we require of the BDM role, which is creating your own marketing content, right? Now you just
Hmm.
got to add our loan program on it or do some co-marketing flyers, right? Or host an open house and host it with your LO, right? So BDM is fantastic for that, but again, the payout is going to correlate with how much effort, how much time do you want to invest in that role, right? So BDM is great
Hmm.
as a side hustle, but if you want to keep the most income from each loan that you generate, then you gotta get your license, right? At the end of the day, right? We're
Yeah, I think
talking, yeah. There's a big difference, right? Like if you're a loan
it's
officer,
huge. Yeah.
200, you get 275 bips most of the time, right? Versus 25 or whatever, right?
Hmm.
It's magnitudes difference in potential earnings, but you do get all the benefits, right? You could still participate in rev share, right? But once you become LO, you can also recruit your own BDM, right? So,
Hmm.
and BDMs plural actually. So as an LO, you can have many BDMs, right, under you,
Yeah.
right? So, um, but BDMs can only recruit LOs. So
Mhm.
BDMs cannot recruit other BDMs. So yeah.
Yeah, so I'd like to add, right? Let's say, for example, you're not a super high producing realtor. Let's say you do somewhere between 10 to 20 a year, right? And let's say you make, I don't know. I don't like, let's say you make 100,000 a year, right? As a
Yeah.
realtor. If
Mhm.
you become a loan officer, and let's say, for example, you do half of that, right? In loans, right?
Yeah.
You do both the you're both the agent and the loan officer on the deal. Of course, you have to make sure you're compliant and everything. But let's say, for example, you are a what we call a relo individual. You're able to increase your income by like 50%. And so from 100,000 to about 150,000. And so my thoughts are is that, um if you don't want to, like, there are people out there that wants to work really hard, right? And they want to do like 30 transactions a month. Look, by all means, great. More power to you, right? And we would love to talk to you too to bring you on. But the thing is that if you want a life outside of work, right? If you have kids, if you have a wife or a significant other, if you have family members you want to spend time with, you're not going to want to work 30 transactions a month. That's you're going to be way too busy, right? And so we'll get you in a process where you're either one referring the business, or if not referring the business, to another LO inside of the business. But what you would be doing is you would just do the 12 transactions on the loan side, the 12 transactions on the real estate side, and then passing the stuff down to your downlines when you bring them on. And you're still going to get paid on the deals, because as you pass it down, they're going to do it. You're going to get the rev share, right? So there's so many different levels of how we can do things. And I think that it's not just about getting paid, right? It's about having a good quality of life, as well as earning the income that you need to be able to successfully live out the lifestyle that you actually want to live. And I think that uh, NEXA gives us the opportunity to do something like that. So if you want to join us, reach out.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So, um, yeah, if you're like, yeah, if you're ready to talk to join the BDM program, to or if you're interested in becoming a LO, right? Let us know. Reach out to us. We're happy to guide you and get you there. Um, the rev share is super powerful, right? And the rev share, quite honestly, if you are familiar with EXP's model or Real or many of the copycats, Epic and all the other ones,
All the rev
even
share
even
models.
Nexa, right? Even Nexa has a real estate, right? That's a rev share model, Axon Realty, right?
Mhm,
And Nexa itself, it adopted the rev share model from EXP, right? And then it put it into its model. And Nexa is actually one of the only loan mortgage places that I know of that actually has a rev share model, right? That is
mhm,
similar to EXP. And so something super cool is that, hey, if you're like us and we're already at a model, a realtor brokerage that has that rev share model, you already understand how that works and the power of that, right? So at the same
mhm,
time, Johnny and I, we're building our realtor side rev share. Now we're
mhm,
building
mhm,
our loan officer side rev share. So that's gonna be
mhm,
super powerful, right? And now we're just these businesses, like we said earlier, real estate, lending, they go hand in hand, right? Um, and I don't know if you haven't been paying attention, but there's a lot of mortgage brokerage companies out there creating their own real estate brokerage, a lot of real estate brokers creating their own mortgage brokerage company. So if you're watching from a sideline, you're not seeing what's going on, why aren't you getting dual licensed, right? So again, it's all up to how hard do you want to work, like, or how much do you want to make, right? Are you ready for the changes
mhm.
coming? Um, So if you want to level up your business, earn more, reach out to us. We'll be happy to talk to you and help you out.
So
Anything on my
that
end?
concludes that concludes our episode 32 with the
Mhm.
Nexa BDM process. I think that you should reach out. Reach out, just even just to hear a little bit more, get connected with us. And with that said, please like, subscribe, Throw comments in there. If there's anything you want us to talk about, let us know. If you want us to get a specific guest to come onto our show here at Ninja Wealth Exchange, just keep us posted, and we're going to continue to bring you quality content as to what we're doing, as well as what the industry is doing, to be able to level up and be able to be successful. So with that, Lord, do you have anything else?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to say, everything we share, if you're curious, just keep a open mind, have a conversation, see if it's right for you, right? There's no pressure. We're not gonna hard sell you anything, right? If it's not right for you, that's not right for you. That's fine. I mean, no right now doesn't mean no later, right? Maybe
Mhm.
you're just not ready. So don't worry about it. And thank you guys for watching. Peace out.
Yeah. Later.